some more. Got a dirt track legend and a beat-up Chevy and a rookie kid that's right foot heavy. He's searching on the high side, looking for some grip. One wrong move and he's gonna let it slip. He's leaning on the cushion, bouncing off the wall. You gotta have the guts if you're gonna have it all. Let the sparks fly high, let the header scream. Everything you got for that dirt track dream. It's a Wednesday night street fight. Hammer on the gas, tailing out and screaming, looking for the pass. From the green flag drop to the checkered flags waving. It's a Wednesday night war and the dirt we're craving. No points for pretty, no room for grace. Just a bit of bumper and a killer pace. Yeah, we're living for the slide and the engine roll. Wednesday night street fights, give us some more. Hands on the wheel, white knuckle grip, keep the nose tucked in, don't let it slip. Riding the berm, a catfish in the bottom. Find a gap and you know we got her. Wash off the mud, fix the bent up tin, just to turn around and do it all again. It's midweek mayhem underneath the lights, chasing down the checker through these dirt track nights. It's a Wednesday night street fight, hammer on the gas, tailing out and screaming, looking for the pass. From the green flag drop to the checkered flags waving. It's a Wednesday night war and the dirt we're craving. No points for pretty, no room for grace. Just a bit of bumper and a killer pace. Yeah, we're living for the slide and the engine roll. Wednesday night street fights, give us some more.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here from the beautiful Limaland Motorsport Park for another night of action-packed racing action here with the Wednesday night street fights. As the practice session is getting over with, we're going to get right into our heat races, random drawed heat races for each and every one of these drivers, and we're looking for the top two to advance on through to our A main feature event. As Mama Bear Susie Dickinson in the chat, how are you, Mama Bear? Coming in, showing the love here in this one. How are you, Mama Bear? Hopefully you're having yourself a wonderful Wednesday. As Tim Taylor in the chat as well says, Pappy here for another stellar 15th. Hey, brother, hey, 15th sometimes is not a bad time, you know. You want to get a little bit better than that, but you just never know, man. Tim, I've seen you have some pretty good runs. I've seen you have some pretty good drives. Maybe tonight will be another good night for that beautiful 99 ride as we get ready to set them loose. We get ready to go to battle here in this one, starting on the pole in heat race number 1. It'll be the JPAC Graphics number 74 of Josh Patterson to his outside in the 01 machine. I love this paint scheme. The 01 of Mr. Derek Rice. Man, that is a beautiful looking paint scheme here this afternoon. That beautiful Alpachian ride here. The beautiful Cocky Floyd Consulting EJR 01 machine back there in that third position, though. Our championship point leader heading into tonight's racing action. That's Alina Truck Stop 52, that DWR JPAC Graphics ride. That is Tyler Jackson there in third. To his outside in the number 21 is Ricky Russell with the the 47 of Tyler Ryan. In the 57, the grumpy old man himself in the Dirt Warrior Racing ride number 57. It's Jim Revis rounding out our top 6. Cody Ernest and his TNT teammate there, the 45 of Stephen Burrow, our top 8. And Jeremy Sexton starting back there at the rear of the field, back in that 9th position as quickly we see that green flag fly, and it's Josh Patterson out in front. Patterson leads the way and will lead lap number 1 here at Limaland. So for all these drivers, they're chasing down that 74 PA here this afternoon, and here comes T-Jack. He knows this is a golden opportunity for that 8 ride. If he can jump up here, battle for potentially the heat race win, it could set him up nicely because he knows that his counterpart here, the driver that is tight with him and been battling with him throughout this season for the championship, with this being our 4th to last race of the season, they know that these points are going to matter the most here at the end of the year. And unfortunately, I believe for the first time this season, or almost seems like it, that Jeremy Sexton gets a bad pill draw, has to start at the back of this heat race, and he's going to have to try to hunt down not only the driver that's now out in front, but the driver he's chasing for that points championship. So for T-Jack, he sits out in front. He steals that race lead away from Patterson. Patterson now falls back into position number 2, but I believe he's going to look to just try to hang right here behind T-Jack and hope to try to run away with that second and final transfer spot into our A-main feature event, as Rice right there in that 3rd spot. Unfortunately for that beautiful 0-1 ride, he is on the outside of a transfer looking in as Ricky Russell, Tyler Ryan, the 57 of Jim Revis round out our top 6. Jeremy Sexton still back here battling for that 7th position. He's just going to slide up in front of that 45 as Stephen Burrow and Cody Ernest bring up the rear of the field, and we're inching closer and closer to the end of our first heat race of the day as T-Jack down across the line will click off lap number 8. So only 2 laps left to go here in this one. So 2 more laps left for these drivers to duke it out here. And for Tyler Jackson, this is exactly what he wanted to see. This is the run he needed here this afternoon to maybe propel him far enough forward that it could set him up nicely to potentially try and run away with this championship. T-Jack, though, nice and easy down through 3, and out of 4, we'll see the checkered flag fly. So Tyler Jackson gets the first heat race win of the afternoon. Josh Patterson will come home in that second and final transfer spot, meaning Rice, Tyler Ryan, Jeremy Sexton, Jim Revis, Ernest Burrow, and Ricky Russell will all go to our consolation races later here this afternoon. As Mama Bear says, let's go, Jim. Cheering on Jim out there on the speedway. My boy James Beavers in the chat as well says, what's up? What's up, James? How are you, brother? Coming in, showing the love here in this one. As Jeremy Vaughn says, we need a new pill draw lady. Laugh out loud. Oh, brother, I'm going to have to agree with you. We do see Jeremy out there did not get a good pill draw here this afternoon, and it looks like he's going to be starting deep in heat race number 2 as that beautiful Wheeler Metals WR1 number 3 machine will start back in that 8th position, not the spot that he wanted to be at the start of this race. As starting on the pole in the number 2, that is Cameron Stefanski. To his outside in the number 18, that is J.C. Floyd, who will start in that 2nd spot. Starting in position number 3 in the 001, that is Alex Brewer. To his outside in the Sunrise Racing number 44, that is Jacob Stefanski. Starting back in position number 5 in the 33 ride, that is James Ellington. To his outside, the 99, that is Mr. Tim the Toolman Taylor. The 21, Shane Matthews, will start in 7th with Vaughn there in 8th, and it's Dylan Simmons who brings up the rear of the field back in that 8th or 9th position out there on the racetrack. As once again, we're looking for the top 2 to transfer through. Everybody else will go to the Consis as the 2 of Cameron Stefanski. Great launch, great jump, quickly on the loud pedal, trying to slide and clear that 18 of J.C. Floyd. Floyd, though, looking for a good run down through the middle here, trying to stay to that right rear quarter panel. That 2 right as they're door to door, back down across the line. Too close to call, but I believe he can give the advantage ever so slightly to that 2 right of Cameron Stefanski, but one slip up, one mistake, and quickly You can see J.C. Floyd out in front, I believe that time by the start-finish line. I would give that race lead to the 18 as J.C. going to edge out in front ever so slightly in front of that 2 ride. And for Cameron Stefanski, he's got to be careful here because he's got Jacob Stefanski right there in tow, trying to work his way up and into the top 2 here this evening as Brewer back there in 4th. Tim Taylor rounding out our top 5, but he's got Vaughn and Ellington all over him, and Vaughn is right into that back bumper. Tim Taylor had to be careful right there, almost went around. Luckily enough, able to keep it pointing in the right direction, but man, Vaughn is wheeling it up there on that high side, and he's looking to try to jump up inside the top 5. Just can't quite find his way around the 99, and Tim Taylor just kind of running a pretty solid defensive groove here through, you know, both sides of the racetrack, and unfortunately just has not left that open lane to the outside for the 3 machine to try to take those runs and try to work himself forward. As out in front, JC continues to run away with heat race in number 2 this afternoon by Cameron Stefanski and Jacob Stefanski. They're going to look to battle it out. They're going to continue to beat and bang and duke it out as they're door-to-door down and across the line with only 3 laps left to go. Jacob Stefanski wants the spot. The 2 right of Cameron Stefanski trying to hang on to it. Unfortunately, up the racetrack right there. Good run down through 3, but not a great exit for the 44. Jacob Stefanski, that's going to bring Cameron and Alex Brewer right into the picture as they work to the back bumper and look to the outside of that 44 machine. This is exactly what JC wants to see because he has ran away with this heat race, and we're down to our final lap. So who will pick up that second and final transfer spot? They'll beat and bang and battle down into 3. Nice and easy out at corner number 4. JC will pick up the heat race win, and it's gonna be Cameron Stefanski on the outside lane who will steal back that second and final transfer spot. Jacob Stefanski will go to the consolation race with Brewer, Tim Taylor, Vaughn, and the rest of that heat race. Outside the top 2, unfortunately, will go to the consolation races here this afternoon as we'll get ready to rock and roll for heat race number 3. Heat race number 3 is gonna line up like this. On the pole, it is the 4X ride of Ryan Howard. To his outside, the 5B, that is Bryson Collins. Starting in position number 3 in the 727, that is the Racing Dirt Race On number 727 of Zach Clark. To his outside in the white knuckle, number 19, that is Dakota Proud, is back in position number 5 in the 101, that is that Doghouse Chassis, Sexton Paint and Body, 101 of Jacob Sexton. To his outside, it will be the 20 ride of Philip Sexton in the EJR number 20 ride, and back in position number 7 in the number 13E, it is Evan Monaghan. To his outside, our 3rd place driver in points in the DWR, slingingdirt.com, Dirt Panda number 71 machine of William Hargraves. And at the back of the pack in the 9th position in the KHR number 75, that is Kent McLean, who will start back there at the rear of the field. Again, 9 drivers, top 2 to transfer through, as here we go back to Green Flag Racing as heat race number 3 gets underway. So heat race number 3 now underway. So for each and every one of these drivers, they'll be looking to try to keep on moving forward. They'll look to try to put themselves into potentially a transfer spot out there on the speedways. Each and every one of them trying to hunt down this 5B machine as Bryson Collins finally gets a pretty decent starting spot with that random pill draw. He's had some tough luck starting deep in the pack, but here tonight he has to start on the outside of that front row, and he's looking to take advantage of it as he's got the race lead and not wanting to give it away here today, as there is Zach Clark working to the inside of Ryan Howard. Howard, though, trying to get wound up on that outside lane, looking for some big runs, hoping to see if he can try to do almost like what we saw Jeremy Vaughn was trying to do throughout his heat race, trying to use that outside lane, carry carry all that speed and momentum and try to find a way to get to the outside of that 5B machine. But right now, looks like this track very, very tacky. Even still down on the bottom side, that it's definitely working out well for Zach Clark, as it looks like he will take over the race lead. Is down across the line. He will have that top spot, and you can see a couple other drivers that are trying to follow through in that line. One of those being the 71 of Will Hargraves. Hargraves right down low here. He's trying to work his way closer and closer to the front of the field, and he's inching there ever so slightly as he's up almost 6 spots and almost into that second spot. The big runs, though, the big drives down in through these straightaways for the 5B of Bryson Collins is going to keep him just in front of Will Hargraves. And now you see him cross over that number 727 run. You see, for Will Hargraves, had to really get onto the binders there, had to try to figure something else out, had to try to find another run. Now he's lucky that, you know, the 5B goes back up to the high side there, 2-3 wide, almost 4 wide right here, beating and banging, battling here for that second and final transfer spot out there on the racetrack. It's exactly what Zach Clark wants to see, as he's now opened up a bit of a lead between himself and the rest of the field, as it's a dogfight back there behind him, and the white flag has been displayed. So the final time around, and it looks like just edging out is that 71 of Will Hargraves, but we'll have to see down and across the line as the 71 of Hargraves steals that second and final transfer spot. Zach Clark out in front. Easy day and easy work for the 727 as he'll pick up the third heat race win. So Clark and Hargraves transfer through into the A-Main feature event. Everybody else goes to the consolation races here this evening, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to rumble here for heat race no more heat races. That was our third and final heat race, so we're going to head to our consolation races. It looks like 10 drivers slotted to run here in this C-Main. Let's take a look here. Looks like all 10 are going to make it. We'll have to wait and see if anyone from our B-Main will get the boot here this afternoon. So if there is an elimination, it will be in that B-Main. And, man, that is a heartbreaker for some of those guys. But for all these drivers, they know that they're locked in. They know that they're going to be racing in this A-Main feature event. Now it's all about, you know, how much farther forward you want to drive, where you want to put yourself, where you want to try to line yourself up here, because every single position is virtually another row forward out there on the racetrack for the start of our 70-lap A-Main feature event. So for Derek Rice, Bryson Collins, they're going to hope to try to stay 1 and 2 out there on the speedway. For Jeremy Sexton, our second place in points, he's going to be starting here in that 4th position. He will have Alex Brewer down to his inside. Obviously for Jeremy, he's hoping that he can work himself forward, try to at least start pretty close to the front of the field here, not have to work through the traffic as badly in that A-Main feature event. So we'll have to wait and see what he can do here in this Consi, as we will see Dakota Proud in the 19th start back in 5th. James Ellington will start in that 6th position with the number 88 of Cody Ernest, the 101 of Jacob Sexton, the number 21 of Shane Matthews, and I do believe it is the 021 of Ricky Russell, bringing up the rear of the field. All 10 drivers will work their way into the show, but now we set the stage for the back half of our A-Main feature event. And quickly, for Derek Rice, great launch, great start there for that beautiful Cocky Floyd Consulting EJR KR1 Gage Farms, beautiful Dukes of Hazzards throwback paint scheme here. That thing is looking fresh out there on the racetrack, man. That thing is looking absolutely beautiful, looking stout as well, as he looks to hold on to the race lead. As he continues the battle down on the inside, you do see the outside lane paying dividends here, as Bryson Collins will take the early consolation race lead. So Bryson out in front. He's got the top spot. He's hooked up here in that outside lane. For Derek Rice, he's trying to hold on to second, but man, that 2020 ride, he is one of our championship hopefuls for a reason, and here he is, quickly slicing and dicing, trying to work his way up and into second. And if he can take that second spot, he knows that he's going to have a lot of time here to slowly but surely try to reel in this 5 of Bryson Collins, try to hunt him down, hope to try to reel up to the 5B Cody's back bumper and see if he can try to steal this consolation race win away from him. As they run right now for Jeremy Sexton, I do believe coming home second here in this heat or consolation race, he would virtually start our A main feature event. I do believe back in either the 9th position or the 10th position out there on the speedway. I'm pretty sure it'd be the 9th position. This would probably be, I don't know if this would be the inside or the outside row. Nonetheless, he'd be starting somewhere in that 5th row for the A-Main feature event if he finishes here in position number 2. If he can jump up and steal this heat race win, it would move him a row forward where he'd start 7th or 8th in behind our top 2 from the heat races. And that is going to make for a little bit easier work throughout that A-Main feature event, especially if he wants to chase down what will be our pole sitter and the driver he's chasing for that championship lead, Tyler Jackson, here this afternoon. So he'll have his work cut out to try to hunt down T-Jack out there on the racetrack. But man, Bryson Collins, he's going to put up a good fight here and try to keep that 2020 at least an extra row back there behind him, as down and across the line they'll click off lap number 10. So 10 laps down, only 5 laps left to go here in our C-Main consolation race, as Collins, Sexton 1 and 2 with Alex Brewer back in 3rd. Then you see Derek Rice and James Ellington, they're in 4th and 5th. Dakota Brown working the inside here. He's going to get a big piece of one of those infield tires, and unfortunately goes a little airborne. He's going to get the car pointed back in the right direction, but it does cost him a couple spots out there on the racetrack, as we will see Cody Ernest and Jacob Sexton work their way around him. Unfortunately for Dakota, we'll fall back to 8th as Shane Matthews and Ricky Russell round out our top 10. Now, luckily enough for all 10 of these drivers out there on the racetrack, they will all advance into the A-Main feature event, as we see our race leader, Bryson Collins, gets up into the outside fence there ever so slightly down and out of corner number 2. That's going to lose a bunch of speed for him. Got to be very, very careful with that, but he does see that white flag fly. Now here comes Jeremy Sexton looking for a big run down the inside, hoping to kind of reel in that 5B machine, but now Bryson is going to roll down through the middle and out of corner number 4. It's Collins who will pick up the C-Main consolation race win. Jeremy Sexton will come home in 2nd with Alex Brewer, Derek Rice, James Ellington, our top 5. Jacob Sexton, Cody Ernest, Dakota Proud, Shane Matthews, and Ricky Russell will round out our top 10 there in the C-Main. As now we'll get ready for our B-Main. Ooh, and unfortunately, I do believe it's going to be 10 drivers again. 10 drivers again will fortunately make it into the show. Unfortunately, one driver will have to go. One driver will unfortunately not advance into the A-Main feature event here this afternoon through this B-Main. We're slotted to have 11 drivers take the green flag. One driver will load up their ride and join the fans in the stands here this evening, and that is not a fun spot to be for the lone driver, the only driver out of the field not to be racing and competing for the checkered flag here this afternoon. As the Throttle Down Motorsports Sunrise Racing number 44 ride of Jacob Stefanski will see the green flag fly first here. He has the top spot. To his outside, it is the 47 of Tyler Ryan. Starting in position number 3 in the 4X, that is Ryan Howard. To his outside in the Memphis Grizzlies number 99 machine, the TNT Racing ride, it's Tim the Toolman Taylor starting there in 4th. Starting back in 5th, it's the grumpy old man himself from the Grumpy Graphics Dirt Warrior Racing League, Panda Nation number 57. The slinganddirt.com ride, it is Jim Revis rounding out our top 5. Philip Sexton will start there to his outside of the Doghouse Chassis ride with Jeremy Vaughn, Stephen Burrow, Dylan Simmons, Kent McLean, and Evan Monaghan bringing up the rear of the field as 11 drivers will take the green flag. One driver driver will be eliminated from contention here this afternoon, and they're already beating and banging. 2 wide, 3 wide, almost a little 4 wide out there on the racetrack, and unfortunately for Philip Sexton, he's already lost the front bumper off that beautiful 20 ride. So he's missing the nose cone here. Unfortunately, that will add a little extra drag, and who knows what type of tire wear potentially that's going to cause for this car. But not only tire wear, but tire damage. Did he get into the fence? Did he take a big hit where maybe the handling of this 20 ride is going to start to fall off? You can already see him kind of struggle and fall back to the rear of the field. You can see him putting a lot of wheel into this 20 ride to try to navigate around the racetrack. And for one of those drivers that is always up there up the front, that's always competing and battling for top 5s, top 3s, even race wins on a weekly basis, to be back here in this 11th position, he finds himself right now currently in a elimination spot on the racetrack. He needs to at least find one position to advance himself into the A-Main feature event. As Jacob Stefanski has the race lead, Tyler Ryan, though, looking to take it away from him, goes for the slide job. Look out, there goes Tim Taylor. Tim Taylor and the 3 of Jeremy Vaughn beat and bang. They both fall back here and right into the clutches of Philip Sexton. Philip right there ready to pounce. He knows that was his golden opportunity. This is his shot to at least try to gain that one extra spot and work himself back into the show here this evening. And he still has about half of this consolation race to go. So he's going to go to work here on Jeremy Vaughn, knowing that this could be that position he needs to advance into the A-Main feature event. He does have Tim Taylor right there in front of him. Stephen Burrow not too far away as well, as you're going to see Vaughn, Tim Taylor, this 20 rider, Philip Sexton, all try to race their way up there and try to work themselves into the show. Unfortunately, one of them has got to go, as we saw the big move out of that 47 to slide up in front of Jacob Stefanski. Jacob had to cut down the racetrack to cross him over. Unfortunately, made contact there with Tim Taylor and took Taylor and Jeremy Vaughn from battling inside the top 5 to battling back here at the rear of the field. And man, this is still a dogfight, door to door, for Vaughn and Philip Sexton for position number 10 and 11 on the racetrack. If you're 10th, you advance into the show. If you're 11th, unfortunately, you've got to go, and you've only got 4 more laps left to figure it out. And right now, unfortunately, looks like Philip Sexton is going to move into potentially that transfer spot for Jeremy Vaughn. He already missed a race earlier this season back at Knoxville Raceway for the 3 ride. He's desperately going to need to try to find that extra spot here late in this race, as Jacob Stefanski, though, out in front, has the race lead. He's going to head down and out of corner number... Oh, look out, we do lose one. Oh, no, the 13E of Evan Monaghan. Monaghan having such a great season last year, has having a good season again this year. I'm not sure what happens here to the 13E machine, but it looks like down and out at corner number 4, the car just hooks a left, takes it down pit side, and unfortunately off the racetrack. So it looks like Monaghan may be on the outside looking in here, as the white flag has been displayed for the 44. It's Jacob Stefanski who will pick up our B-Main win here this evening. Tyler Ryan, Ryan Howard, Kent McLean, Jim Revis, Dylan Simmons, Philip Sexton, Tim Taylor, Jeremy Vaughn, and Stephen Burrow will be our top 10 advancing in to our A-Main feature event. Unfortunately for Evan Monaghan, he will load up his ride, and he will join the fans in the stands here this evening. Heartbreaker there for Monaghan. He was in a transfer spot. I don't know what happened to him down and out at corner number 2, but that thing just took a hard left down into the infield there, towed it down pit lane. I don't know if there was something that came up or if something went wrong with that race car, but nonetheless, he's going to be the one and only driver not to advance into this A-Main this afternoon. Heartbreaker there for him, as we'll get them all ready to rock and roll. We'll get ready to go to battle as our B main has concluded. That means our A main is just around the corner, and for each and every one of these drivers, it's going to give them an opportunity here to quickly jump in onto the racetrack, make sure that their cars are set up perfectly, make sure that any changes that they can make and that they think will work to help them out here, that they get them done, because you never know with this series. Even on these tight, short racetracks, we have seen them go a very long distance, clean and green. They always tend to surprise us, but there is always that risk factor that we could see a bunch of caution flags, whether it's, just a short run of 5-10 laps and see a yellow back to back to back to back kind of deal, or we could see a long stint and a bunch of cautions late in this race, or a bunch of yellows early on and none later on. It could play a lot of different ways, and you gotta just try to guess and make sure that however you set this car up, that it's gonna be perfect, not only for the start of this race, but especially for the end of this race. You want to save a little tire, you want to make sure you're in a good spot up there on the racetrack, and if it goes to the high side, that you can run up there and not fall out of it. So that's gonna be a ton of fun to see how these drivers will handle that pressure, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to rumble here in just a few more moments. I'm going to get a quick drink into us, but you guys can enjoy a little bit of music here for the Dirt Warrior Racing League, as we'll be right back in just a couple more moments for our A-Main feature event. So don't go anywhere, because you do not want to miss the racing action here this evening. And if you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor. Hit that like button on the stream, and make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. As James says, the 13. No. Yeah, that was a big shocker there for the 13 ride. And Jeremy says, my stomach sank just then. Sheesh, laugh out loud. Yeah, that would have been rough. That would have been a tough one to miss out on right there, brother. As we'll be right back in just a couple more moments.
The sun drops low and the lights kick on. Midweek madness till the break of dawn. The boys are back where the clay is slick. Hammer
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys came here for a show. Well, here you go as our main feature event gets ready to rock and roll here from Limaland Motorsport Park. As 26 of the best dirt street stock drivers are ready to go to battle here this evening, as each and every one of them start to roll in behind our official iRacing pace truck. We take a look at the starting grid, and starting on the pole in the number 8 machine, it was our first heat race winner of the day, and our current points leader, it is the 8 machine of Tyler Jackson. To his outside in the 18, that is JC Floyd, with the 727 of Zach Clark and the 74 of Josh Patterson. They're in row number 2. Cameron Stefanski, Will Hargraves make up row number 3 with Bryson Collins, and the number 44 of Jacob Stefanski. They're at the outside of row number 4. Jeremy Sexton, Tyler Ryan round out our top 10, as here we go, ending all the anticipation with our feature presentation. 70 laps of green flag racing here this afternoon with the Dirt Warrior Racing League's Wednesday night street fights. Is out in front early on. It is that 8 ride of Tyler Jackson who takes control of this race, and he's looking to hang on to it for the next 69 laps of racing action. But he's going to have his hands full. There is a lot of fast cats and a lot of tough, stout competition that'll be knocking on his back bumper, looking to try to steal this race lead away from him throughout this evening. As T-Jack, though, has the top spot, we do see JC Floyd hanging on to position number 2. Zach Clark right there, rounding out our top 3, as Josh Patterson sitting comfortably back there in that 4th position. And then back behind that, the heat is on as they're door-to-door, 2 wide, 3 wide, a little bit of 4 and 5 wide, back throughout the field as it's a dogfight for each and every one of them, trying to work themselves forward out there on the speedways. You do see our second place driver in the point standings, the 2020 of Jeremy Sexton, started back in position number 9. He's gained at least 1 spot on the racetrack. He's looking for more, though, as he's trying to make quick work of a few of these drivers to try and race his way up towards the top 5 out there on the speedways. He's jumped up into about that 8th, 9th position, looking for a few more spots, though, as Bryson Collins works down to his inside. The 2020 right there on the back bumper of the Sunrise Racing number 44 of Jacob Stefanski, as there's beating and banging, battling back there behind him, and we will see the caution flag fly as the 20 and the 101, a pair of Sextons, get turned around here, and we'll see the first caution flag of the day be displayed after 7 laps of racing action. So let's take a look back here. So it is Jacob Sexton and Philip Sexton. Door to door down through core number 3. Nice and easy out of core number 4. Looks like Jacob may have the advantage. Sends it into the corner and kind of just tail whips it ever so slightly. Unfortunately, as he does, it just comes right up. That rear end just kind of slides in front of the 20 ride of Philip Sexton. They make contact, and unfortunately both drivers start to spin. They start to go around. Nowhere to go for Cody Ernest, as he'll give a shot into the shorts of that 20 ride, helping Philip Sexton go around, as you see the 101 of Jacob Sexton driving right down into the infield here. Unfortunately for both drivers, that's going to put them right back to the rear of the field, and that is not a fun spot to be out here on the speedway. That's going to set you up for a tough night of racing action, especially if you may have lost a lap out there as well. And it does look like potentially for Jacob Sexton and Philip Sexton, as that caution flag came out, they were both potentially scored a lap down as our race leaders had rolled around them. So we'll have to wait and see if that is maybe an iRacing mistake or if they did lose a lap. But out in front, getting a great restart and keeping JC Floyd and the rest of this field back there at bay, is our race leader, Tyler Jackson. T-Jack going to continue to try to hold him off, but there's going to be more beating and banging back there, and look out. There goes Jim Revis. There goes the TNT Racing number 45 ride, as we do see the caution flag once again get displayed. Jim Revis pointed the wrong direction here. He's hoping to try to get this thing turned around, as hoping that no one drives in him and or through him there on the high side of corner number 2. But let's take a look back, see what happens. So watching a little bit of beating and banging right there in front of him. Jim ends up getting in there a little bit too deep after contact there just in front of him. So that you can see these guys as they exit corner number 4 just in front of them. That is that beautiful number 01 ride of Derek Rice. He's going to get into the middle of McLean and Howard. They get stacked up right there. They make some solid contact, and as they check up down into corner number 1, we'll see the 01's not trying to spin out McLean. I think the 57 Jim Revis doesn't realize that they're checking up that much. Then he has to get checked up, makes contact with the 101. Dylan Simmons gets into him, shoots him up the racetrack, unfortunately, right into the lap of that 88 run. Then you just see Jeremy Vaughn. He knows that all of a sudden, man, Jim Revis is parked right in front of me here. I've got nowhere to go. I got no way to avoid it. And unfortunately, for Jeremy Vaughn, drives right on in to his Dirt Warrior Racing League teammate here. As here you go, he's going to see him bouncing around, then all of a sudden right in front of him, has to get checked up, and as he does, I think he would have been A-okay without contact there until the 45 could not get checked up in time. Gets into the back end of the 3, giving both of them some pretty solid damage, and obviously a little extra damage there for Jim Revis as well. As here we go, back to green flag racing, as out in front, T-Jack, another big restart, as he looks to try to keep these guys back there at bay. Is Zach Clark, good run down on the inside through 1 and 2. Staying even there with J.C. Floyd. We'll have to wait and see if he can find that gear. Once again, down the front straightaway. Unfortunately, looks like J.C. will hang on to that second position, as you do see the 71 of Will Hargraves, that 74 of Josh Patterson. They're battling here for position number 4 and 5 on the racetrack, as Cameron Stefanski up on the high side. He's looking to try to work his way up inside the top 5. So isn't Jacob Stefanski. Is Jacob just in front of that 101 or 2020 ride out there on the racetrack in the 001, as we do see Jeremy Sexton, Alex Brewer, and Tyler Ryan round out our top 10 on the speedway. Bryson Collins, unfortunately, the 5B is fallen back now into about the 11th position. He's got Ryan Howard now working to his outside. Quickly coming to his back bumper is that 75 of Kent McLean, and here comes Derek Rice right back into that battle, and again looking into the middle here between McLean and Howard. We saw how that worked out last time for him at a corner number 2, and how that last caution flag virtually got started there. So we'll have to keep a close eye on those 3 as they continue to battle back here just outside our top 10. But out in front, continuing to hang on to the race lead, nice and easy, down and across the line, leading the first 15 laps of tonight's main feature event. It's the Selena 52 truck stop, number 8 machine of Tyler Jackson. T-Jack out in front, and man, I don't know if he's saving tire or if he's working really hard. You got to imagine running more of this slide job lane has got to be using up maybe a little bit more of his tire out there on the speedway, rather than just trying to hold the line out there and trying to keep that, you know, right rear just up and into that good stuff here into the cushion on the outside. And unfortunately, as he's kind of run that slide job lane, it's brought the 18 right to his rear bumper. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that, see if JC can take advantage of it and try to steal the race lead away from T-Jack here this afternoon. But we do see our third caution flag fly, as I do believe the 33 of James Ellington going to run into some problems. So Ellington battling back here with the 21 machine of Shane Matthews and the other 33 of Dylan Simmons, and it looks like the 33 is going to make a little bit of contact down and out of corner number 2. It looks like for Ellington, kind of just got in there, washed up the racetrack, Dylan Simmons, he's trying to work his way back down and underneath that 0-1, and Ellington slides up into that right rear quarter panel and unfortunately loses the nose here, pushes down the racetrack. Tim Taylor's getting onto the binders there. Philip Sexton drives into him and virtually puts his front bumper right into the window net there of Tim Taylor. Hopefully Taylor is A-okay because, man, Philip Sexton climbed right up and inside the cockpit there of that number 99 ride with this contact. Is bam right there. They just all of a sudden have nowhere else to go, and Philip is just right on up there, basically right at the head of the 99 machine. Luckily enough, that window net able to keep that, front bumper and right front tire from entering the cockpit and putting Tim Taylor at risk there on the racetrack, as both of them will keep on battling, they'll keep on rolling. And now we'll go back to green flag racing as quickly. Green flag back out into the air for Tyler Jackson, as Joe in the chat says, had some beers and I was sloppy. Don't want to be a weapon out there in the main. Get at it, fellas. Man, hey, you know what? That is a beautiful, beautiful thing for us there in that one, man. That is a valiant thing for Monaghan to jump off and not want to put other drivers or other people at risk, as we do not condone drinking and driving here on the channel, and we definitely don't condone drinking and iRacing as well, as it is a dangerous sport and things can happen in a quick hurry, and you want to make sure that you are at your fullest extent of the power, in behind the wheel to avoid causing issues out there on the racetrack. So amazing thing that Joe did for us here for Mr. Monaghan, and we can't thank him there for that one. And I'm sure Jeremy Vaughn, he's going to owe you one here tonight. I think he's going to probably owe you a beer, because he was definitely next up to potentially miss out and not transfer through into that A main feature event here this afternoon if it wasn't for the 13 pulling off the speedway. But for T-Jack, he is A-okay out in front. He started third in the first heat race of the day, quickly jumped out to the race lead, and ever since then he's never looked back, as he was able to pick up the first heat race win. Started on the pole here for this A main feature event, and now after 24 going on to 25 laps completed, it's been all Tyler Jackson here at the front of the field. As here we go down across the line, 25 laps completed. I do believe 45 laps left to go here in this one. So 45 more laps. Can T-Jack hold him off and keep him back at bay for the rest of this feature event, or do we see JC or maybe Will Hargraves? What about Zach Clark or that 74 of Josh Patterson? Can they work their way up to the point here this afternoon and steal this win away from T-Jack? What about Cameron Stefanski or Jacob Stefanski sitting back there in 6th and 7th? And right there, our second place driver in points, still battling here in about the 8th position, the 2020 of Jeremy Sexton. He's been having a bit of a hard time trying to work himself through this traffic, and unfortunately, that is the issue when you get a bad pill draw. You start at the back of the pack of one of those heat races. Even though he still started up inside the top 10, it's been a whole lot more work trying to navigate through traffic, and he's still got some pretty solid competition all around him. So it's not been easy sledding for the 2020 ride. We'll have to wait and see if late in this race, if Jeremy can work his way up there towards the front of the pack here and try to at least salvage something decent of the day, trying to not give up too many more points to Tyler Jackson. We'll have to wait and see how that plays out, though, as now 30 laps completed, 40 laps left to go. And for Tyler Jackson, he's only about 5-6 laps away from locking down the most laps led out there on the speedway as well, which could be some extra bonus points into his back pocket to help him out here this evening. Now, unfortunately, he does not have, I do believe there is a bonus point as well for the quickest lap of the night as well. I don't believe T-Jack has that either. Even though he's been out in front leading this race, he does not have the quick time here this afternoon. It goes to the 71 of Will Hargraves right now with the quickest lap time out there on the speedway. And for Will, I think he's going to look to try to hang on to that and hope to hold on to that extra bonus point for as long as possible, because he's third in the point standings. He's a long ways away from Jeremy Sexton and a very long way away from Tyler Jackson in these point standings, so he's going to need maybe a little bit more of a miracle to try to catch up to them here, with only obviously this race and 3 more left to go here in season number, I do believe this is season 22 now of the Wednesday night street fights here with the Dirt Warrior Racing League, which is absolutely insane, and yeah, coming into this race for Tyler Jackson, he was sitting at 374 points. Back behind him was Jeremy Sexton by about 13 points. So he had a 13-point lead in the point standings coming into this race. He was able to gain some through that heat race. He's been able to gain some potentially here throughout this feature event. We'll have to wait and see how this one plays out, because it could still change and things could go catastrophically wrong for that 8 ride, and things could get a whole lot better for Jeremy Sexton back in 7th. As we do see the 18 of JC Floyd able to steal the race lead away from Tyler Jackson. T-Jack does fall back into position number 2 out there on the speedway, but he's going to cross over the 18 ride. Now they're going to continue to battle here for the race lead, but potentially now in that preferred groove for JC Floyd here. We'll have to wait and see if maybe T-Jack can find something again down low. Normally this is where we see T-Jack running that inside groove, kind of hanging out down the bottom side for a lot of these races and trying to save Tyre out there on the speedway. But early on, we saw him being a little bit more aggressive, running a little bit more of that slide job lane. Has that unfortunately maybe used and abused his tires a little bit more than what he wanted to, and for the 18 of JC Floyd, maybe that's just giving him that extra edge, that extra little bit here that he's been able to not only catch up to T-Jack, make the move to get around him, but now trying to run away from that Selena truck stop ride. As for Will Hargraves, though, Hargraves does sit back now into that 5th position here. He's 3rd in the point standings now. He's kind of in no man's land. He's about 80 points behind Jeremy Sexton, almost 93 points behind Tyler Jackson in the point standings here, but he does have roughly about 37 points himself above 4th place in Jacob Sexton. So with Jacob Sexton already running into issues early on in this race and not really getting any decent points throughout the heat races, that could definitely put Will in a better position and drive him farther away, obviously, from our 4th or 5th, 6th place drivers in the points here this afternoon. So we'll have to keep an eye on the point standings and where these drivers sit out there on the speedway. But for JC Floyd, he's out in front, but now they're starting to run into some lap traffic. Does that open up the door here for Tyler Jackson to try to make some moves and try to steal this race lead back away from that 18 ride? But we do see the caution flag come back out. Yellow flag is back out into the air here in this one, as it looks like Ricky Russell going to run into some issues. Let's take a look and see what happens as Dakota Proud and Ricky Russell beating and banging. They make some contact down through corner 3 and 4, back down into corner number 1 and 2. 19 slides it in there. 21 tries to run the inside. Unfortunately, the 19 was already there. They made contact. They both get woed up down on the inside groove. iRacing throws that caution flag with the race leaders coming up in a quick hurry. And luckily enough, no one else gets tied up into it. No more heavy damage or more contact there for either Ricky Russell or Dakota Proud back there deeper in the field, as that will bring us once again to the yellow flag. And that means another big restart. But this time, it's JC Floyd who will have the race lead. JC will look to try to keep Tyler Jackson, Zach Clark, Jacob Stefanski, Will Hargraves back there at bay. Josh Patterson sits in position number 6 with Jeremy Sexton back in 7th. Alex Brewer, Tyler Ryan, Cameron Stefanski rounding out our top 10 out there on the speedway. Kent McLean, Bryson Collins, Dylan Simmons, Philip Sexton up into 14th here with Shane Matthews, Tim Taylor, Jacob Sexton now into 17th, Jeremy Vaughn there in 18th with Jim Revis, Derek Rice, James Ellington, Stephen Burrow, Ryan Howard, Ricky Russell, Dakota Proud, and Cody Ernest bringing up the rear of the field. As here we go, big restart, and already they're stacking up. Caution flag is back out as we saw Josh Patterson go around down through corner number 1 and 2. So right back to the caution flag here. Cautions breeding cautions. Let's take a look and see what happens here. To Patterson is the 74. Going to send it in up on the high side. It looks like T-Jack may have gotten up into the outside fence ever so slightly. And as he does, he just gets in there, unfortunately, at a weird angle. The car levels out. It goes up the racetrack into the outside fence. Jacob Stefanski gets into the back end of him, and we're going to see Patterson get in there as well. Unfortunately, Alex Brewer could not get checked up in time. Hard contact into that left rear quarter panel for the 74 machine, and that's where we see Patterson go around, and then everyone else just trying to play dodge car, as we do see a pair of the DWR machines make contact there, as obviously the 3 Ryan Avad trying to avoid running into the 74, gets a good piece of Jim Rivas. Luckily enough, both drivers able to keep on battling, but unfortunately for Josh Patterson, a good solid start to this race. 74 Ryan now finds himself at the back of the pack, as we'll stack him up, rack him up, get ready to do it all over again. I think that was a big break right there for Tyler Jackson, as I think he was slotted to maybe lose 2 or 3 positions down through 1 and 2. So that kind of erases that restart, allows him to kind of get another good launch, a good start here, trying to stick with that 18 ride, but now still trying to hold off a lot of fast cats back here behind him, as Zach Clark working down to the inside. Here comes Jacob Stefanski, Will Hargraves, Alex Brewer right there ready to pounce, and here's that 2020 of Jeremy Sexton. Has he been saving some tire? Has he been kind of lurking in the weeds and waiting back here a little deeper in the field for his time to strike and his time to try to work his way up to the front of the pack? It's going to be tough sledding, though, as he's kind of in the middle of a little bit of 2 wide, 3 wide, beating and banging out there on the speedway. Things stack up a little bit on the outside. Right there behind him is the 47 of Tyler Ryan. Had to get checked up, as we do see JC hold on to the race lead as we are down 50 laps here this afternoon. Only 20 laps left to go. 19 laps left this time by the start-finish line. So 19 laps left to duke it out, and you see JC continue to hold on to the race lead. It is Tyler Jackson who holds on to second here. Can T-Jack find a groove, find a rhythm, and maybe find that extra little bit that he may need to try to steal this race lead back away from the 18 machine late in this one? I know for JC, he wants to win this race, because not only does it help his teammate, the Cocky Floyd Consulting number 20 riders. Here we go. Slide jump right there for T-Jack. He pulls the trigger. JC crosses him over, though. Quickly jumps right back in front of Tyler Jackson. But T-Jack showing him that, hey, you know what? I'm here and I am ready to go to battle, as we do see Bryson Collins gets bounced around a little bit down through corner 1 and 2. Luckily enough, the 5B gets bounced back into the right direction, able to keep on going. No caution flag. We keep it clean and green, as look who's starting to work their way up and in towards our top 10. It is Philip Sexton from virtually the back of the pack almost twice here this afternoon. The 20 Ryan now up into that 12th position, and right there with them, that 101 of Jacob Sexton. He's just on the outside of the top 10 as well, now into that 13th position as he works his way around Shane Matthews. Washes up the racetrack, though. Look out, there goes Matthews. Matthews shoots down the racetrack. Car contact, caution flag, back out, and again, man, Jeremy Vaughn is just going to have a magnet on this race car, because he makes contact again with another spun car. Receives some pretty solid heavy damage there, and unfortunately we do see the caution flag come back out here again late in this race, but it starts with this 101 run. You see it on corner entry right here, gives a bit of a shot right there to the 21, pushes him up the track. He gets into the outside fence. Now they're going to be door to door down into corner number 3 and 4. 101 slides in there, gets hard up into the outside fence for Jacob Sexton. As he bounces it off the wall, he kills his speed, his momentum, and unfortunately for the 21, he can't get checked up in time. I'm sure he wasn't expecting Jacob to make that hard of contact into the fence. That, unfortunately, though, the contact spins him down and around here. Unfortunately, bounces down right into the lap of Jeremy Vaughn. Clips the 99 of Tim Taylor as well. Tim's going to wash up the racetrack and make a little contact there. It's James Ellington going to get a piece of him. Derek Rice gets a piece of Ellington. And see Patterson and everyone else just trying to avoid the spun-out race cars there on the racetrack. It's another caution flag. And for everybody else, man, another big restart here on the horizon. As JC Floyd going to look to try to keep him back there at bay. Can he hold off Tyler Jackson, Zach Clark, Jacob Stefanski, Will Hargraves, Jeremy Sexton, Tyler Ryan, and the rest of the field here late in this one. As here we go, green flag quickly back out into the air. Another good restart there for the 18 rider, JC Floyd, as he's just looking to try to hit his marks, make sure he doesn't make any mistakes, and does not open the door here for Tyler Jackson to potentially try to steal this win away late in the race. And you do see that 2020 right there ready to pounce. As, oh, look out, there's contact. Hang on to it. Oh, baby, they're stacking up here. Everyone's bouncing around. Everyone's stacking up. They're piling in there. They're still bouncing off one another. And somehow or another, for a lot of these drivers, they're able to keep it pointed the right direction. But we do see the caution flag fly as this one kind of got started. As T-Jack up on the high side gets a good run. Sends it down through corner number 3 and 4, and then right there, contact between Tyler Jackson and the 727 of Zach Clark. Clark ends up driving up the track here, gets a piece of that left rear of Tyler Jackson, and that kicks T-Jack around. He's virtually parked sideways there in the middle of corner number 1 and 2, and then all of a sudden, they all just start piling in here. Clark's got nowhere to go. That's where we see that caution flag come out, but look at the 44 machine. I mean, Jacob Stefanski, he's completely sideways, but there is Clark coming to a stop down on the bottom side of the racetrack, but they all just keep on piling in here. 4, 5 wide out there on the racetrack. Pretty solid shots for a lot of these drivers. T-Jack has damage. Jacob Stefanski, Jeremy Sexton, all these guys end up with some pretty solid contact right there. Now we'll have to wait and see who survives it and who's able to keep on battling here this afternoon as we get ready for another big restart. As here we go, back to green flag racing. That's exactly what the 18 ride wanted to see, though, because that keeps a couple of these drivers that may have had a little something left in the tank for them, now with a little bit of damage, may be the difference maker for him to hang on and keep himself out in front and potentially trying to win tonight's A main feature event. As down through corner 1 and 2, once again, T-Jack up and into second. He's going to hang on to that second position. He's going to try to go to work here on that 18 ride, but he disappears on the racetrack. I don't know what just happened to T-Jack. He's blinking again. His internet, his McDonald's Wi-Fi is acting up again, unfortunately, at the worst time out there on the racetrack, because late in this race, the intensity's built up. These drivers are stacked on top of one another, and none of these guys are going to let off the throttle or want to back down out there on the racetrack, and that could put you into a very difficult position in a quick hurry. But you see T-Jack right there on the back bumper of JC Floyd with the 44 of Jacob Stefanski there as well. Here comes Will Hargraves, Alex Brewer up inside the top 5 as he's looking to try to slide up and clear that 2020 of Jeremy Sexton. Jeremy still trying to hang on to a top 5, and look who's worked his way now inside the top 10. It's Philip Sexton now trying to slice and dice his way up inside the top 5 out there on the racetrack as Jeremy up the racetrack. Good contact to the outside fence. Luckily enough, able to keep it pointed the right direction, but it will allow that 101 to slide up in front of him. Once again, these are the dangerous crossovers that could cost you potentially some big positions out there on the racetrack, especially with some late race contact that could send you around like we see right now as a couple drivers lined up here and tore up. Jeremy Vaughn looks like he may have gotten a piece of that again, but we do see Dakota Proud and Ryan Howard kind of right in the middle of it. Let's take a look back and see kind of how this one gets started, because I believe potentially for the 47 of Tyler Ryan, he's going to get up into the outside fence, and then that kind of just stacks things up right here. It's right there. He bounces it up and off the wall, but it's actually, you know, these guys still have some room here, and it looks like potentially Derek Rice. He just sent it in there too far. He does. Unfortunately, gets in there too far. Gets into that back bumper of the 19 rider, Dakota Proud. That shoots him sideways. Nowhere to go for Ricky Russell. 4X ride. You look at James Patterson, the 5B rider, Bryson Collins, all stacking up there on the outside lane. Here comes Jeremy Vaughn. He's trying to avoid it. He wants to keep himself out of it. He said, you know what, I've already ran into too many cars here this afternoon. Luckily enough, it looks like he does get checked up and avoids any more major contact out there on the speedway. But unfortunately for a bunch of these drivers, you know, their nights are ending early here. They're getting too many incident points. They're running into issues. And now we do see, oh no, the 2020 Jeremy Sexton down pit side and off the racetrack as here we go. Back to green flag racing. But oh no, T-Jack blinks at the worst time. Caution flag is back out. Oh, brother. Caution flag is back out as we were getting ready to go back to green flag racing here. It looked like Tyler Jackson all of a sudden blinks right here. But honestly, they were already stacked up before that. They were already on top of one another here. Let's see if we can get another look at it because these guys are tight as tight can be. You can see them all making contact here with one another down into core number 3 here. And for all of these drivers, I don't know if one's pushing or what's going on here, or if the 18 is on the binders, but nonetheless, he kind of pulls ahead a little bit, and then all of a sudden, they get right back to the rear end of the 18 ride as he kind of slows up the pace, and the 44 kind of just drives right down underneath the Tyler Jackson, and it just drives right underneath, right through T-Jack. Obviously, as that happens, he ends up blinking there as well. Now, that could be a little bit of netcode at the same point in time. Obviously, the 44 is already checking his rear end fluid right there, seeing what the level's at. And unfortunately, that just jacks up the 8 ride, spins him around, and all of a sudden that restart quickly goes right back to the yellow flag. And now here we go. Green flag back out into the air, and for that number 18 of JC Floyd, he's looking to hang on to it to try to pick up the checkered flag here this afternoon. Will Hargraves right there into that 3rd position, but looking for a little bit more, and Philip Sexton somehow or another has raced his way through a ton of contact and beating and banging and battling, and he's just on the outside of potentially working his way onto the podium here this afternoon. What a comeback for that 20 ride is down and across the line. I do believe they are going to click off at least another lap, and I do believe it is 2 laps left to go here in this A-main feature event as the 18 of Mr. JC Floyd out in front, down and out of corner number 4. We'll see the white flag fly. So no late race caution flag will decide this one, because here we go. Final time down the back straightaway, down into corner number 3. Nice and easy, down and out of corner number 4. And once again, back up and into victory lane for the veteran JC Floyd in the Cocky Floyd Consulting Get Up Bumper Motorsports KR1 EJR number 18. It is JC Floyd who finds himself back up and into victory lane. Jacob Stefanski will come home in second, and Will Hargraves will round out our top 3. But the big question mark will be is for our points leaders here. Obviously for Tyler Jackson and for Jeremy Sexton, not the races that they wanted to have. T-Jack finishes this race back in 19th. Jeremy Sexton finishes in 22nd. So a very tough night for both drivers. Now they just got to hope that they have, you know, a drop week each that they could potentially use here for this race. But they don't want too many more of this one, as Jeremy Vaughn says this car is retired and going to the scrapyard. Laugh out loud. Oh no, it's retired and headed to scrap, says Mr. Vaughn. That is not a fun night. I don't think there's a lot of drivers that were super happy, super thrilled about how tonight played out. And man, there was obviously a lot of stuff that kind of went down there late in this race. We saw obviously Jeremy Sexton, he kind of got DQ'd out of it. For T-Jack, he got DQ'd out of it. That big hit there on that restart, I think, is what did in Tyler Jackson. If there was no contact there, coming back to that what could have been potentially the final restart of the day, obviously that little bit of a blinking, the 44 drives underneath and through him and then spins him around. That could have been all it took there to eliminate Tyler Jackson from contention here this afternoon. Obviously took him out of what could have been a solid at least top 2, top 3 run here this afternoon, which could have been a big swing in the point standings for T-Jack here this afternoon. But those guys are going to have to try to settle things out there on the racetrack in the next 3 races to figure out who is going to win that championship as we'll get ready to pull our top 3 up and into the broadcast booth for their post-race interviews. As ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up here for our race winner, the 18 machine of J.C. Floyd. Hey, JC, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth to get a copy.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Not too bad. JC, man, take us back through this one. As obviously early on, we saw T-Jack, who is normally saving a lot of tires out there on the speedway, and it seemed like maybe, I don't know if he was burning them up because he was running more of that slide job lane. You were kind of just a little bit more straight, a little bit more at ease, rolling there behind him for the first, 30, 35 laps of this feature event. And as he continued to kept running that car hard, even with a few of those restarts, you were able to finally work your way back up to him. You were able to make that move, steal the race lead away from T-Jack, and from that point on, never looked back as you were able to hold off the rest of these field and Tyler Jackson for virtually the second half of this feature event and find yourself up here in the victory lane, man. Take us back through what's going through your mind after, what was a, fairly chaotic race, man. A lot of caution flags, a lot more than what we normally see, but man, that is just Limaland out there on the speedway.
I just knew, like, after we ran Monday, I felt like that slider line was going to be kind of dangerous for most of the race, and then I finally I figured out my wheel finally the other day after we talked after, what was that, last Wednesday? So I think I finally figured my wheel back out, so we should be hopefully getting our speed back in the dirt street stocks. I'm tired of hearing that I'm washed up, so...
Well, they definitely can't say that now because you're able to find yourself back up and into victory lane. But obviously, no mirrors in these race cars and no spotters, so you didn't really get to see too much of what was going on back there behind you. But I'm sure that voice channel was popping up quite a bit here tonight. It had to be active because there was a lot of beating and banging, a lot of battle in there, and a lot of hard contact late in this race. And it took out a lot of great drivers, including our top 2 in the point standings with Tyler Jackson and Jeremy Sexton, who end up getting X'd out of this race.
Yeah, I know probably he did blink on that restart. He did blink in front of me on the 1, which I've raced plenty with T-Jack, so I kind of know like when he goes and when he, kind of whatever. I don't know exactly what happened with who was it, Stefanski that actually spun him. I don't know. Everybody in Discord said he was blinking too, so I have no idea about that. I'm just kind of glad I still got the speed. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, racing on a track like that where it's usually locked up, running, slider line or bottom, it's kind of hard to pass. And then, kind of getting around T-Jack is like, I made a comment the other day in the Discord. We need to get more fast guys back in here. Make it a little bit more, entertaining and blah blah blah. And I don't know if people really like that comment or not, but I mean, it just makes the game more exciting when you have 8 more or 10 more guys that you have to beat every week. And but yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely makes things more exciting. Definitely would make things that much tougher for the bottom half of the field to advance into this 8 main feature event, and obviously could bring a little bit more fireworks. But hey, honestly, I'm fine with it because if you guys get back to where we were, let's say 5 years ago, 6 years ago, at the peak of virtually iRacing during COVID, and we saw the dirt street stocks, and the community was fairly toxic, but man, it was bumping, and we had so many good money races and so many different setup shops and so many battles there. When you look back at Hackney and Massey and yourself and all those guys, and you throw in X other group and this other group, man, it was just it was a lot of fun. But you know what, controversy creates views, and I'm okay with that.
Dude, I tell you what, I tell all these new guys that get on this game, I said, if you would have played back, 2020, 2021, this game, like, I don't grind the street stocks like I used to. I just play them for fun now. Like, I'm just help my guys whenever they need it. But dude, back in the day when, I used to get my butt kicked, by Kilgore and Massey Hack. They used to be the guys to beat, and I took that personal. And I sat here, I grinded my motherfucking ass. I'm sorry if I cussed, whatever.
You're
Sorry.
good. You're good.
I grinded my ass off to get to where I am on this game, and I tell Jeremy and all them, I said, if you want to be that good, you literally have to go out and you have to win every single race. It's but it's I don't know. I wish they would have, got to race back in the day when all the good guys were on and like that, because dude, the lobbies, we were just talking about the other day. We used to race till like 1:30 in the morning on a work night. And we had like 5K strength of fields. We had Chase Barbara, Cruz Caudell, Dylan Hauser. We had all the pro guys, just
Yep.
And that's what made you that's what made you in the street stocks. You know what I mean? And now that Kilgore's kind of gone, he kind of raced the other day. I don't know if he's coming back or not. I think Hackney, I don't even know where he's at anymore. And then I think Massey races a couple races now and then. So it's fun. But like I said, I wish we get a couple more fast guys in here, and it would be so freaking. I'm telling, racing without mirrors too is so freaking fun. Like, just being able, if you're a leader, you got to search. I mean, just like real life, and I don't know, it makes it hard to win on Wednesdays a little bit because the pill draw and all that stuff, but it just depends where all the other good guys start, I guess, is another thing. So
Yeah, absolutely. Makes it exciting, makes it fun, and obviously from up here on the broadcast booth and for all the fans in the grandstands, makes it that much more exciting as well because you get to see more of those guys like Jeremy Sexton start at the back of the pack in a heat race and try to navigate his way through there. Or, even Phillip, who was at one point in time sitting in the last spot out there on the racetrack in our B main
Yep.
and was potentially about to be eliminated from tonight's racing action till late in the race, and we saw the 13E pull off. But we saw him even in this race make contact there with Jacob Sexton. They went around early on, and then all of a sudden Philip just been able to work his way through the traffic and ended up with a top 4 performance here this afternoon in what was probably easily the hardest charge of this season.
yeah, that Thanksgiving's going to be a little rough, I think, this year. They were kind of yelling at each other for a minute in the heat race. So.
Yeah, there might be some fights there at the Thanksgiving table, that is for certain. But JC, man, that was a lot of fun. That was some great racing, and man, you were able to find yourself back up here in victory lane. It's got to feel good. And who would you like to thank for getting back up here?
Just all the Sextons, Derek Rice, Steven Stokes, everybody that hangs out in the kennel, Jordan Gage, Ethan Johnson, just everybody who kind of supports Cocky Floyd and doesn't hate on us, I guess. Definitely you've putting this on. I'm just glad I get hopefully I get one of those cool looking things from Jim finally. I've been wanting one, so.
Yeah, we'll have to tell him. You'll have to jump in there and let him know that you want one, brother, because I'm sure he can make that happen. But JC, man, great run, great race. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack next Wednesday night. Hopefully, maybe right back up here into victory lane now that you got that steering wheel fixed. Maybe an onslaught of victories again for the Cocky Floyd Consulting 18 machine.
Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful night.
You as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, J.C. Floyd. As Floyd picks up the dub here this evening, we'll get ready to pull in our second place finisher, the number 44 here tonight. Usually he's in the 32. It's Jacob Stefanski. Hey, Jacob, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Jacob, man, another great run, another great race for you here this afternoon. Man, this was an exciting one. There was a ton of back and forth, a ton of beating and banging, man, and obviously, some late race contact, a tough restart there as you and T-Jack get hooked together as he blinks a little bit, but you guys are stacked right on top of each other, and unfortunately, as he started to blink a little bit, just that neck code as he kind of drove right underneath of him, and obviously didn't mean to. Nothing you could have really done differently because you no longer had a car there in front of you virtually, and he goes around, X's out, and for you, it gives you the second spot out there on the racetrack. Now you get to battle there and try to steal this win away from J.C. Floyd.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that for T-Jack, and T-Jack knows I'd never do that to him intentionally. Yeah, I even waited to get on the gas on that restart too, hoping that he'd be going, but that blink just was just too much, and suddenly he was on top of me, and I was inside his car, and I didn't even know that he ended up going around until the caution come out right away there. To be honest, I don't think I had anything for JC. I was probably realistically like a fourth, fifth place car. I think Will had a little bit more speed than me behind me. I just kind of was in the right places at the right time. There was some beating and banging. I think you'll get that with the no mirrors in this league here and there, just because some guys don't necessarily know their zones. They say they got the spot, but their front bumper's barely touching your back bumper, and they're on top and you're on the bottom, and it's taken some adjusting with the no mirrors, but it's always a good time here in the Dirt Warrior Racing League. You always guarantee some good racing here.
Absolutely. Some great racing, some great action, man. You guys put on another amazing show for all the fans in the stands here this evening, and you're able to pull the 44 ride here tonight up and into victory lane. A little bit of a throwback paint scheme as we did see the old DCSSS logos on there and the Throttle Down Motorsports as well on that side of that 44 car this afternoon.
Yeah, I just kind of figured I'd switch it up a little bit. I haven't been running too great in this league, and I mean I've barely been able to get on at all to really practice or to be running on a regular basis. Besides just this Wednesday night, this single race on Wednesday night's pretty much all I've been getting on. Working, trying to get the Ram trucks ready for colleague, and it's just been a lot of overtime. Just not much time to be on here practicing and getting fine tuning. But I this is an easy league to pick for the one day of the week that I do get to get on.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a night that you do not want to miss as either a viewer or a driver out there on the speedway. As Jacob, man, great run, great performance for you here this afternoon as you're able to park that number 44 up here on the podium in second place here this evening, man. Who'd you like to thank for another great run and solid drive out there on the racetrack?
I got to thank my guys over at Sunrise Racing. Uh, WB Creative Designs always keeps my paints looking good. Steve's Lawn Care, Modern Drip Coffee. You for doing the broadcast as always doing a great job. Always got to support you, man. And probably Jim for putting on the league and giving us a place to race.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you did say that you've been busy. You've been building NASCAR trucks for the Rams there with colleague. Man, what's going on with that? What is the story there?
Oh yeah, I work over in the fab shop over at Colleague Racing doing the Ram trucks. Just been thrashing, getting those together, and trying to make them super fast for this season.
Whew, maybe that's pretty cool. That is an exciting job. I mean, if you ever see the sticker guy there that's doing the stickers for him, make sure you tell him to throw a PeaceMaker sticker on there somewhere one of these days.
Absolutely, man.
Beauty. Jacob, enjoy the rest of your night, man. Congrats on the second place run. Can't wait to see you guys back out there again next Wednesday and hopefully right back up here in the broadcast booth for yourself.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Have a good night.
You as well. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for the 32 of Jacob Stefanski as Jacob comes home in position number 2 here this afternoon. Great run, great drive there for Mr. Stefanski as we'll get ready to pull in our third place finisher, the 71 of Will Hargraves. Hey, Will, it's Aaron up here in the PeaceMaker broadcasting booth. Do you get a copy?
Hey, Aaron, I got you, man.
Well, man, another great run, another great drive for you, brother. Take us back through this one. It's obviously a lot of beating and banging, a lot of back and forth out there for you, but you were up inside the top 5, top 10 all evening long, duking it out here with some of the best here in the series this afternoon, and luckily enough, you're able to kind of avoid some of that late race mayhem and find your way up here onto the podium.
Yeah, man, for sure. It wasn't easy, I guess, but I just tried to stay out of trouble, and I tried to stay on the bottom as much as I could the whole race, and just try to save tire. But the longer the race went, the harder it went to stay down there. And then of course you got those nice big round little things that stick out of the ground down there, and I like to catch those once in a while and really upset the car, and then I'd lose every bit of ground I'd gain and have to try to regain it, and just try to stay patient and try to be consistent, but it's tough to do.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to do, and obviously when you make that contact, it can not only unbalance the car, but it can definitely cause some damage there as well. Did you feel maybe a little bit of front end damage starting to creep in there late in this race?
I think I was pretty fortunate that way. I don't think I got any damage out of the deal. I did get a few X's out of it. Uh, but yeah, as far as damage went, I was pretty lucky, I think. Because it will definitely damage the car sometimes if you hit it wrong or however it works. But yeah, not tonight. We got lucky. So
Yeah, got lucky
it
there. Got lucky
yeah,
with a few
for
of those
sure.
other caution flags, and obviously a few of the competitors around you running into their own issues when you look at Tyler Jackson or Jeremy Sexton and some of these other fast cats that were up there in the mix with you here this afternoon. But for the most part, you're able to keep that nose clean and out of trouble, and you park it back up here on the podium for what is, a really good points day compared to, the two guys you're chasing with Tyler and Jeremy finishing deep in the field.
Yeah, for sure. We'll take it as far as that goes. That was some pretty tough luck there for Tyler, just connection issues and whatever there, and it definitely didn't work out for him. But that's I guess part of the game. No, I don't even know how a person fixes that. I guess for the issues he has, he does pretty good normally. So uh, tough break for him. Really good racing. Good win for JC. Great racing with Zach Clark. Patterson was up in there. Stefanowski. Yeah, it was a good overall night for us, and good racing with all them guys. Way to keep it clean. I know we were pretty tight, and we got through it pretty well, I
Yeah,
think.
absolutely. Got through it pretty well, pretty unscathed, and you're able to, for the most part, keep that 71 ride in picture perfect form here at the end of this race. As you park it up on the podium here tonight, Will, who'd you like to thank for another great run and great drive out there on the Speedway?
Well, I'm gonna start off by thanking you, Aaron, for doing a kick-ass broadcast as always. I'll give a big shout out to Jim for everything he does for all of us racers and for DWR to keep this league rolling and what have you. Thanks to all the teammates that let me join the team and be a part of what these guys got going. Without them, I don't even know if I'd really be racing much right now. So big thanks to those guys, and gotta thank all the supporters of the league and fans and people that watch the broadcast, and I think that's about it.
Beauty. Well, Will, great run, great drive here tonight, man. Congratulations on the third place performance here this evening, and we can't wait to see you guys back in action again next Wednesday night and see if you can maybe park yourself up a couple spots better and back up into victory lane.
Man, it's got to come one of these days. It's too hard to win. I can't get it done. But hey, if we're on the podium, we're doing something right. So we'll just keep pushing away.
Absolutely. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. One of these nights it'll work in. Now you'll be right back up there. I have no doubt about that. But, Will, enjoy the rest of your night and congratulations again on the third place finish.
Appreciate you, Aaron. Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher. The 71 of Will Hargraves as Will comes home in position number 3 here this evening. Great run, great drive there for that number 71 machine, and a great drive for all of these cars, man. These guys put on an absolutely amazing show for us all evening long, and we can't thank them enough for jumping in here and putting on a great show for all of us fans in the stands to tune in and watch and enjoy the amazing racing action. And a huge shout out to all of you amazing fans in here tuning in. Everyone that came in, showed the love, tuned in and watched and enjoyed the great racing here this evening. We appreciate each and every single one of you. If you haven't already, make sure you guys do help us out a little bit though. Hit the like button on the stream, hit that share button if you're feeling courteous, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Become part of the PeaceMaker family here today. Unfortunately, though, that will do it for us here in this one, man. Huge shout out to all of you guys again for tuning in. Huge shout out to all the amazing sponsors here in the Dirt Warrior Racing League Wednesday night street fights, and we can't wait to see you guys back in here not only next Wednesday for their next race here on our Wednesday night street fights, but also back up here in the booth tomorrow night for some great NASCAR racing here on PeaceMaker Gaming as well. So hopefully we'll see you guys there. Tune in, show up, show some love, and enjoy some great racing there, or even just pop in to say hello to myself. Always makes my day, and obviously helps us out a ton here on the channel. So hopefully we'll see you guys back in here again tomorrow night. And hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your afternoon, the rest of your night, and hopefully you guys have yourself a wonderful Thursday. And we'll see you guys back in here tomorrow night. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll see you guys back here in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Sun sinking low on a workday sky, but there's a hellfire looking every driver's eye. You can hear the engine screaming from a mile away, tearing up the silence at the end of the day. Fire in the pipes and a blur in the eyes, where the clay meets the chrome and the sheet metal flies. It's a different kind of gospel, a different kind of heat, when the rubber meets the clay and the slide's complete. It's a Wednesday night street fight, hammer on the gas, tailing out and screaming, looking for the past. From the green flag drop to the checkered flags waving, it's a Wednesday night war and the dirt we're craving. No points for pretty, no room for grace, just a bent up bumper and a killer pace. Yeah, we're living for the slide and the engine roar. Wednesday night street fights, give us some more. Got a dirt track legend in a beat up Chevy and a rookie kid that's right foot heavy. He's searching on the high side looking for some grip. One wrong move and he's gonna let it slip. He's leaning on the cushion, bouncing off the wall. You gotta have the guts if you're gonna have it all. Let the sparks fly high, let the header scream. Everything you got for that dirt track dream. It's a Wednesday night street fight, hammer on the gas, tailing out and screaming, looking for the past. From the green flag drop to the checkered flags waving, it's a Wednesday night war and the dirt we're craving. No points for pretty, no room for grace, just a bent up bumper and a killer pace. Yeah, we're living for the slide and the engine roar. Wednesday night street fights, give us some more. Hands on the wheel, white knuckle grip, keep the nose tucked in, don't let it slip. Riding the berm, a catfish in the bottom, find a gap and you know we got her. Wash off the mud, fix the bent up tin, just to turn around and do it all again. It's midweek mayhem underneath the lights, chasing down the checker through these dirt track nights.